Hello and welcome to another Dragon Ball FighterZ video. Today we've got a character breakdown for Gogeta. The Ultimate Fusion is finally upon us. Gogeta is a tricky character to pick up as he has a lot of unconventional moves, but once you get used to them, you'll be dealing damage like the best of them. Besides, you have the best looking reflect in the entire game. And this video is brought to you by OtakuCharms.com. Get on board with that Gogeta hype and snag this t-shirt, become Gogeta himself with this hoodie, or go beyond canon with a Super Saiyan 4 figure. Otaku Charms is an impressive Dragon Ball collection of clothing, accessories, and figurines with new items available now. The shipping is 100% free worldwide, no matter where you live, and we're giving you an extra discount. Get 10% off using promo code Globku at checkout. There's never been a better time to shop at Otaku Charms. Thank you for sponsoring this video. Let's start by tackling some of his normals. Gogeta is very strange at first because a lot of his normals don't behave the way you're used to. The first light attack is 2 hits, for instance, and the second light attack puts the opponent in the air, which sometimes is awesome because it gives you new conversions, including same side snapbacks, mid-screen or corner, without using meter. Yeah, that's a problem. Other times you're just not counting on it and you drop combos right at the start. His light attacks are both weird, and that's part of what makes this character uncomfortable to play when you first pick him up. If you're the type of player that can overcome this hurdle, then Gogeta might be for you, but if not, then I guess you're never picking up this character because the weird does not stop there. His 2L is definitely a low, but not a very fast low. High-low mix-up isn't going to be Gogeta's strong suit. Doesn't mean he can't do it. Having a slow low is better than not having anything, but high-low 50-50s might not be possible thanks to how slow this move is compared to other 2Ls in the game. His standing heavy also behaves in a pretty funny way. If it connects, it plays this small animation, and it looks like a grab, but it can actually be blocked. It's a hit grab. And his down heavy isn't weird at all, but I think it's worth mentioning because for mix-up, this thing is a godsend. It puts you in the air, lets you air dash before you land, so with the right assist, you can go for some very ambiguous left-right mix-ups. In the air, his normals are even weirder. His jumping medium attack hits 3 times, and all 3 of those hits count as overhead attacks. So if you're blocking, you gotta block all 3 of them standing up. In combos, you should also be taking advantage of this because every time you hit the medium attack button, you're getting 3 medium attacks. That's a lot of damage, so let those mediums run. And then we have his heavy attacks. His jumping heavy launches the opponent forward and wall bounces instead of bringing them back down to the ground. What's interesting about this is that this is also Gogeta's assist. Gogeta comes in from your side of the screen, dashes across the ground, covers a little over half screen, and kicks the opponent. This assist is awesome. It's not quite like a beam assist since it doesn't cover as much of the screen, but it still covers a decent amount and it's faster than a beam. Also, it wall bounces like crazy. It's so easy to combo off of a Gogeta assist. He opens up a lot of new combo possibilities for your whole team. All of that while being a solid assist for neutral and mix-up as well. As the active character, this move is your go-to launcher in the air. You can follow it up with a super dash, but then to bring the opponent back down to the ground, you're either gonna need to throw a special attack or Gogeta's jumping down heavy, which is a dive kick. On its own, this move is an overhead, so it needs to be blocked while standing up, and if it lands, the dive kick will always put the opponent in a sliding knockdown. So this is your combo finisher outside of special attacks, which we'll talk about in a second. But before we get to that, we have beams for days! Just hitting the special attack button has Gogeta throw a beam. He can throw a beam on the ground, in the air, or he can throw a tilted beam if you hold down in the special button. So he's got 3 beams total. Now, these beams are treated as normals and not special attacks, which means you can throw a beam and then cancel into a special attack afterwards. In sparking, you can jump cancel beams and then throw more beams. This is part of what makes Gogeta's damage really wild. Even without sparking, you can go from a Kamehameha into a Gallic gun. That doesn't spend your jump cancels or anything, that's just part of his normal route, so we're gonna see this a lot in corner combos. However, these beams are a bit slower than usual. They are slower than Super Saiyan Gokus, they are slower than Goku GTs, they are not slower than Coolers, it's not that bad, but you might feel the beams come out a bit slower than usual, and that's why. Moving on to his special attacks, since we're on the subject of beams, let's talk about the multiplex after image with quarter circle forward and the special button. Gogeta creates 2 clones, and he can throw one of the 3 beams at the opponent, and if it connects or gets blocked, Gogeta will teleport and dive kick the opponent, which once again is an overhead attack, must be blocked standing up. You can do this while on the ground or in the air, and you can be any of those clones after the move is done. You can hold the direction to change your position to one of these clones, so when they vanish, you're not where the opponent thought you were, and you also control which beam you want to throw. Now I know what you're thinking, You want to down heavy that dive kick, don't you? Okay, well, you can't. If you block the beam, in most cases, the dive kick will come out without a gap. And I say most cases because apparently the Gallic gun sucks. If you choose to be the Gogeta that shoots the Gallic gun, get ready for that down heavy. Don't ask me why this is, I'm just a YouTuber, but Gallic gun can be punished. If the beams get reflected or they miss everyone, then that's it. That's the end of the move. So you can't reflect and down heavy because the dive kick just won't be there. You can also fake throwing the beam by holding down the special button, and you can still change positions with any of the clones without throwing a beam. This is a mix-up tool for sure. You can call an assist and then become any of the 3 clones. That not only creates a lot of visual noise, it's hard to react to all of these characters on screen. Not knowing which one of them is going to attack you is a good way to make the opponent panic, though it has a slow startup, so it can be hard to pull off perfectly. Next, let's talk about the Punisher drive with quarter circle backwards and the special button. This one is an unblockable attack. Similar to a grab, it just cannot be blocked. But if you jump, you're safe. Thing about this though, it hits from full screen. If you're on the ground, you're getting hit. After you land this move, Gogeta will be in a plus situation, which means that if both players mash, Gogeta will win. But if your opponent respects that, then that means you can try to mix them up. Dragon Rush, instant air dashes, whatever you want. You cannot combo from this move with any assist in the game. None of them are fast enough, and if you call an assist before this move, they will disappear because this is a cinematic attack. But if you want to keep the combo going, you can always vanish or spark if you want to spend the resources, or just throw a super. That works too. Moving on to his attack specials, first we have Soul Strike with quarter circle forward and an attack button. Each button has a different startup time and the distance covered. And also, this is a Rekka. I'm gonna be calling this move a Rekka for the rest of this guide. If you don't know what a Rekka is, basically it's a special move where you start it and then you can input more buttons to keep the move going. You can follow up this move with a light, medium, or heavy attack buttons for a total of 3 attacks. They're all pretty similar. The main difference is how fast they come out and how much damage they deal. Outside of the corner, for instance, it will be hard for you to land any medium attacks, but once you reach it, feel free to take advantage of that small damage boost. This is another great option for you to end your combos with. It brings the opponent back down to the ground and puts them in a sliding knockdown. However, if you're in the mid-screen, the window for throwing a super after reaching the ground is ridiculously small. So I would mostly just use this in the corner. Even if you're not going to throw a super, this leaves the opponent too far away from you, so you lose any chance you had at applying pressure. On the ground, the final hit of the string is an overhead attack, so once again, it must be blocked standing up. But you don't have to land all 3 attacks to get the overhead. If you want to spend a bar of meter, after the first attack for instance, you can get an overhead right away, which makes this move not only a great option for finishing combos, it's also a good tool for mix-up. And the final special attack of the day is Rising Vortex with quarter circle backwards and an attack button. Gogeta spins into the air and kicks the opponent. The light attack version is invulnerable to aerial attacks, so it can be used as an anti-air. The medium and heavy attack versions are pure DPs. They are completely invincible, they are turn stealers, but that also means they've got a bit of recovery to them if they're blocked. And you cannot call an assist in case the opponent blocks it. The heavy attack version also has a few interesting properties. First of all, it side switches, so if you're stuck in the corner, that's a good opportunity to swap places with your opponent. And during this animation, you can actually call an assist at any point. Because if you're in the corner, comboing off of this is easy, but mid-screen it can be tricky. That's not the case for the aerial version of this move though. It still side swaps and you can follow up with a super dash, which gives Gogeta a very easy side switching combo. You do spend a bar of meter, but since Gogeta's combos travel a lot, this is a great option to stay close to that corner as you side switch. Moving on to his supers, he's got 6 supers total. 6! This video is never gonna end. Let's start with God Punisher with quarter circle forwards and the right bumper. That's his grounded level 1. Gogeta throws 2 Ki Blasts full screen, and if they connect, he unleashes the Ki Blast barrage. If you hold down the bumper, you get another super for another bar of meter, the Stardust Breaker. And whether we're talking about the level 1 or the level 2, this will be your go-to super. It's Gogeta's level 1 that deals the most damage in a combo, so there's almost no reason to use anything else. Besides, if one bar doesn't kill, you can always use a second one. When in doubt, use this super. Next, we have Stardust Fall, which is done with the same input, but while in the air. This is the most gorgeous level 1 super animation. It looks like a level 3. It's just so beautiful. It's a bunch of Ki Blasts, but it sort of behaves like a downward beam. It's perfect for finishing aerial combos when coming back down to the ground isn't an option. And the super itself brings the opponent back down to the ground where you can safely call your next character for a follow-up. Next, the big Bang Kamehameha with quarter circle forward and the right trigger. You can do this one in the air or on the ground. It's a horizontal beam and it's the most situational of all the supers. With some teams, it doesn't even make sense to use the big Bang Kamehameha at all. So some Gogeta players can just delete this super from their brains. I guess you'll see it often because this is the super he does when he comes in from a DHC, but for you to use this super manually, it's gonna be super rare. Still, here are some examples of how this thing could be be useful. For instance, if you have base Goku on your team, this is the super you use to combo into his Spirit Bomb. So for base Goku players, this is kind of a must-have. If there's a character with a fast super on your team, you can use the big Bang Kamehameha to swap to another character safely, because they'll be able to move before the big bang is done. Characters like Adult Gohan will be able to get a Dragon Rush after coming in, for instance. It's mostly used for these types of situations, but damage-wise, this is not better than the God Punisher. And with that, we move on to our level 3, the Meteor Explosion with quadricycle backwards and the right bumper or trigger. You can only do Gogeta's level 3 on the ground. Gogeta dashes forward, tackles the opponent, and if it connects, you get the sweet animation. You've got some good pressure afterwards, nothing out of the ordinary, enough for an instant air dash and some high-low mix, even though his high-low isn't the best. But then, if you hold the right bumper or trigger during the level 3 super, you spend 2 more bars and get the sweet, sweet level 5. And that's a lot of damage. Moving on to his auto combos, when you mash the light attack button, he does this. The auto combo side switches, as you could see, and that's very useful in some situations, but also the third hit of the auto combo is an overhead and must be blocked while standing up. And this third hit also gives you some very easy mix-up options. Simply by air dashing after the third hit with different timings, you can go for some high-low mix-up. In the corner, this is especially scary because you still side switch in the corner, so you can still mix up left-right by simply mashing the light attack button and timing your assists slightly different. And then when we mash the medium attack button, he does this. And now that we know his moves, here are some tips on how to play Gogeta. Usually you guys ask me for combos in my breakdowns. I don't really like doing that because it's day 1 and his combos could very easily change, but I am to please. So here's a combo that works anywhere on screen. You may want to finish this with a down heavy instead of a Rekka, because that way you land closer to your opponent, and even to throw supers, the window is much better. From a Vanish, the combo is similar, and you can also finish the Vanish combo in both ways. But here's the thing, Gogeta travels a lot during his combos, so the chances of you reaching the corner are very high. If the corner is behind you, you can either go for the auto combo, which switches sides, or spend a bar of meter and go for style points, which is what I'm doing. And the corner makes his routes a lot crazier. If you end the combo in the corner, you can throw a beam after the last heavy attack, and from the beam you can do the medium version of the Rekka, which deals more damage and gives you a much better knockdown. And if you start in the corner, it can get even crazier than that. There are all kinds of combos depending on your starter, but for now, I hope these will satisfy you. They are more than enough to get you started. But to do any of these combos, you gotta first open up your opponent. So here are some tips for mix-up. Gogeta's normals, when stringed together properly, have no gaps at all, so no one can reflect them. It's a true block string. So the question becomes, how do you end the string in a way that lets you call an assist? In a way that lets you mix the opponent. So let's start simple. End your combo with a down heavy. This puts Gogeta in the air, and with the right assists, you can go for some easy high-low mix-up, because Gogeta can air dash before he even reaches the ground. He may even cross up, depending on the assist. Simple, right? Here's another option. End your block string with the Rekka. While you're on the ground, throw the light version of the Rekka with a medium follow-up. Just light, medium, that's it. This leaves Gogeta in the air, and once again, you can go for a late air dash or just land and go for a low. And now let's put these two together. If you down heavy and then do the aerial Rekka, you get a really tricky cross-up situation. You have to spend meter to pull this off, but basically, down heavy, quadricycle forward light, and heavy. That overhead comes out really fast, and it can cross up the opponent if you delay the Rekka just a little bit. This can be really tough to block with an assist in the way. And finally, we have the auto combo mix-up. The auto combo itself is already a mix, since the third hit is an overhead. The opponent is gonna keep guessing, is he gonna do a low here, or is he gonna finish the auto combo? And even if the auto combo is blocked, you can still air dash after the last move. So with an assist, you have another easy way to mix your opponent. In the corner, this one is especially good since it takes the opponent out of the corner, which means you can cross up even there, though be warned, if you use this option too much, your opponent might start reflecting the third hit of the auto combo, because there's a pretty big gap there. There you go, folks, you've got plenty of options now, and to top it all off, Gogeta has a full screen grab. Yeah, you almost forgot about that, didn't you? Unblockable, anywhere on the ground. Don't forget, this is an option. It's easy to get lost with all the air dashing, but this thing is a godsend. In neutral, for a character with beams, I don't think is that great, honestly. Jumping heavy attack into assist is amazing. If it randomly catches the enemy, it's easy to super dash after them and combo, and if it gets blocked, the assist will cover you as you reach the ground and start your own pressure. But the beams themselves are a bit slow. They can be useful since they have beam priority. It's not like people can super dash through them. They clash with other beams. They are real beams despite being normals, but they seem pretty easy to react. The coolest thing about them is because they're normals, you can vanish after a beam even if they whiff, which is something other characters with beams cannot do. But overall, I don't think they're that overpowered in neutral. In combos, they give you a lot of damage. But in neutral, it's like, it's not as good as I thought. And don't even think about using the after images. The recovery on that when it whiffs is crazy long. You're just asking for punishment. But you know what usually works? GT Goku assist into command grab. Yeah, that's fun. And that is Gogeta in a nutshell. How are you guys enjoying this character? Let me know in the comments down below. And don't forget to visit otakucharms.com and get that Gogeta gear. Use promo code Globku for 10% off anything you purchase. And as always, thank you very much for watching. My name's Globku, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!